So sup you chuckle fucks, it's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei was the Frost Monarch. So yeah, other than that, someone did comment saying that they really wanted to see basically all the monarchs just show up one time. Not one time, mostly in the different what ifs. But yeah, and also the fact that he said that he wants the Frost Monarch. When is that going to happen? Well, it's happening today. You're welcome. Wait, not the point. I don't know why I was going to say fuck up, but not the point. I should also mention that I'm dead ass tired because I didn't sleep at all last night. Probably because I was still nervous. Yeah, anxiety's kicking my ass. But that is not the point here or there. I should also mention that I did upload a new what if in my, or mostly a redo what if in my first channel. So if you want to go watch that, go watch that. Pretty much just do Naruto, Ichigo, and mostly anything shonen over there, but not the point. Except for Deku and Chainsaw Man. And yeah, other things, because I really haven't watched. Well, I don't want to watch My Hero Academia. Only if I gotta go watch the villains. Other than that, I don't really care about too much of the storyline. I never watched, Chainsaw Man. I haven't even read the manga. I read Jujutsu Kaisen and also have, watched the anime. Just wait for season 2 on that, but not the point. Let me begin into this what if. But yeah, I am rambling on like a motherfucker, but yeah. Not the point here or there. We go into mostly a kind of brownish hair boy. Right now having some white kind of highlights. He's right now sitting in the snow without a jacket. This is where, well, he doesn't seem to be cold at all. This is where, well, he's only wearing a kind of white kind of t-shirt with mostly being a long sleeve, but it's kind of blizzardy in this time, but there's only just an incident blizzard, but not the point. He's wearing kind of these white shorts and like blue shoes, and yet he doesn't seem to be freezing at all. The cold doesn't seem to affect him too much. It actually kind of feels really great being in the cold. Does it work well? The brownish hair boy with white highlights kind of just walks around. His eyes are a crystallized blue. Does it work well? Even though sometimes they're goldenish brown when it's kind of summer or sometimes hot, they're sometimes that color. But sometimes it's a crystallized blue. Does it work well? He's just looking around and he can always, ever since he was a child, he could always just control snow or even ice or anything just related to being cold. He can also change his temperature to being that straight to drop being negative. But that's not the point here or there. It seems that he can control anything cold. Yet, he seems to just love the snow and just loves it if even blizzards or just snows a lot or whatever. He just doesn't like school that much. Yeah, sometimes this happens. But this is where, well, he seems to be around 5 years old. This is where, well, he's kind of playing right now in, well, mostly in the neighborhood. Well, the neighborhood that he kind of grows up and lives to be, and mostly in original canon, but not the point. This is where, well, he's making snowmen, making icemen. Yeah, you get the point. He's just making a lot of things because this child is still creative and still doesn't really know how to control his powers fully, but he doesn't really care. This is where, well, there's actually kind of something next to him. A screen that pops up that says, "Welcome, player." Of course, he can't read because he's only 5 years old, but not the point. This is where, well, the little boy was confused, but of course just giggling and laughing at the screen. This is where, well, mostly someone was actually watching him, being like a mostly spiritual form next to the screen, but of course the kid really couldn't see it. The person was actually thinking of taking control of this kid's body, but mostly he instead has a kind of warm little smile, because it kind of reminds him of something else, mostly watching this kid kind of smile and kind of laugh at the screen. This is where, well, he then decides to just wait it out and decides to just make sure the screen to disappear from the kid's view. Which when the screen disappears, the kid was confused, but of course decides to go on with just playing on with the snow. But yeah, we go now into a time skip. A very kind of, well, mostly a 12-year time skip. This is where, well, the boy seems to be having brownish hair, with kind of lightish kind of brownish hair. He sometimes has to dye his hair because it kind of gets white, and usually people kind of mistake him for being old, like being older than normal. He's 5'7" and he is having goldenish brown eyes. This is where, well, He sometimes also has to wear kind of like highlights, well not highlights, mostly eye lenses for what's it called, his eyes, because well they sometimes become crystallized blue, and he doesn't know why, but he knows it kind of looks creepy as hell, and people will kind of confuse him. So of course he instead kind of just wears golden brown what's it called, eye lenses, or just his eyes go back to golden brown during the summer. But when it's cold, he just decides to put it back to normal. Now, this kid actually doesn't have, he doesn't truly have parents. Well, he does and he doesn't. His parents really doesn't like always show up to see him that much. They're mostly kind of travel around the world because they're kind of pricks, and they kind of leave this child to be alone half the time. But yeah. But this child is right now no longer 5 years old, but instead 17. He goes to a school called Kuo Academy. This is where, when he kind of shows up in the school, yeah, for some reason he had this weird kind of defense, mostly like defense kind of measurement when people get up close to him, because his body kind of like releases this like freezing temperature. Now, of course, he just decides to try to stay away from people entirely because he gets nervous and too anxiety. So, of course, that's what he tries to do. But there's only 2 people that he actually is friends with, but they're considered to be perverts. And they actually, mostly the school makes Issei, yes, the boy who's named Issei, because this is actually his name, kind of become the leader of the pervert trio. Of course, with that happening, it was quite annoying, but yeah. Of course, he just didn't care half the time. But, he realized that being a pervert has its benefits, making people stay literally away from him. Literally far, far away from him. If he doesn't know them, he doesn't care. His body will literally release this freezing temperature and right now freeze anyone. Or just make them very uncomfortable just to get away from them. Or get away from him. Because he's kind of scared and nervous and kind of excited with other people. He seems to be an interview instead of like an extrovert like his 2 other friends. He sighs, he doesn't really care. Doesn't work, Mom? He just kind of, he's not, he is 5'7"-ish. He's like 5'7.5", but not the point. He's about to be looking like 5'8", but not the point. Doesn't work, he is kind of just, yeah. Now, before I go any further, yes, Issei still goes on a date with Yuma Amato, who kills him, and he does get reincarnated as a devil. I will go into basically a time skip. He does fight against what's called the Riser Phoenix and like other people in original canon like Kokobel and other things, but he uses ice magic during the time. He actually has a good control of ice magic, but not much. Now, we go into the battle between mostly the White Dragon Empress, or mostly Emperor, but you can't really tell that much, versus the Red Dragon Emperor, being Issei. But yeah, we go into a time skip of that. Now, we go into a battle between mostly Vali or Valerie. You can't really tell if it's a dude or a girl, because the armor kind of looks more like a dude, but the voice kind of sounds deep, but not deep enough to kind of tell it's a dude, because it sounds mostly close to a girl. So of course people are not trying to just judge at the White Dragon. Doesn't work well. Emperor, who really knows? The only person that knows is Azel, that being the fallen angel leader. Now, he's watching the battle between the Red Dragon and the White Dragon. Now, this is where, Drake is saying, boost, boost. This is where, Issei is using a bit of ice magic to try to, freeze the White Dragon. But this is where, the White Dragon managed to just use Divide multiple times. This is where, mostly we go into the White Dragon saying, it seems that you're strong, but not that strong. Tell me, can you be able to, what happens, I gotta make you somehow angry. How to make you angry? This is where, the person noticed mostly the people behind the Red Dragon being, that of the Gremory, Forage, and probably the others. And this is where, the person grins under the mask, and this is where, they decide to say, hey, Red Dragon, how about if I kill your family? What would that make you? Would that make you stronger? Would that make you a revenger? This is where, Issei was confused, but this is where, he says, of course that'll make me angry, you son of a bitch. This is where, the White Dragon smiles and says, what if I killed those people behind you? Actually, now that I remember, I remember hearing a story. Actually, not even a story. A details on how you died and got reincarnated. Does it work well? Mostly the red dragon being Issei said, "What the hell are you talking about?" Does it work well? The white one says, "Oh, you don't know how you got actually killed and reincarnated." Does it work well? Issei said, "I got killed because of, well, a fallen angel going after me for my sacred gear and telling me that, wait, this is where it went, telling me for, what's it called, my sacred gear, sorry, I forgot, my head hurts a little bit, but not the point. This is where it went. The white one says, ooh, it seems that you do know, but yet you don't know the full extent and the truth about it. What are you talking about? Do you even know how you even got reincarnated? Actually, if this is a devil barrage, well, not devil barrage, if this is a devil territory, why would there be fallen angels in this devil territory? This is where, well, the white one's trying to see if, well, they can actually make what's it called, Issei, well, the red dragon emperor, try to, well, question themselves. This is where, well, Issei actually stopped for a second and before trying to fight against, well, mostly Folly or Follower, whoever the hell it is, because, well, mostly sounds like a dude, but it's a girl. Probably. This is where, well, because it sounds mostly like his voice is kind of deep but not deep enough. And it sounds mostly like Albion is speaking most of the time. This is where, well, Drake is the one to actually kind of point out that mostly it kind of feels like a female energy signature. But yeah, maybe the host being female. This is where, well, Issei is confused. But this is where, well, he didn't like pauses for a second. This is where, well, Drake says, Issei, are you okay? This is where, well, Issei says, Drake, is it true that the white one is telling us? Well, yes, that is the case. Usually devils would know about everyone inside their own territory. But why? Do you remember that familiar that mostly Rhea showed us? Yeah, the humanoid one. The bat and then humanoid. Yeah? Do you remember my memories? I remember seeing her. She gave me a flyer. A similar flyer to that, like summoning. Don't you... This is where Drake pauses and says, I see. Okay, I now know what you're trying to tell me. Do you think your death was actually set up for you to be reincarnated into a devil? Yes. Do you think that's possible? Well, devils are greedy, and I knew that she seems to be quite greedy also. But that's not the case, actually. I should mention this to also a partner. That red hair, I didn't really want to mention it any time, but mostly even if I'm in the sacred gear, I can smell a scent of another person been within her. What do you mean? Well, she's probably just acting to, well, make you like her false boyfriend or whatever, right? Yeah? Wait, what? Well, what I mean is I can sense and kind of smell that she's been with others, or mostly another person, another guy. I'm not talking about the blonde hair or even the blonde hair boy cross-dresser, no. I'm talking about they have been with another person. Even the black half and half, it's also been with another person. This is where, well, mostly, well, Issei kind of was like wondering, what are you talking about, partner? Well, almost all those girls kind of have a different sense. Even though you're not full dragon, I can sense them since you give me that arm that one time. Does that mean they could have... They probably, if you were to start dating them, they would have probably been in a different relationship, making them probably already been cheating on you. I see. So that love with mostly the red hair, yeah, it could have been false. The love that she shows you is mostly like a lover a little bit, but not truly. I see. And the only reason I'm saying this right now is because mostly the fact that one time you kiss her in a room with mostly the third, mostly sex kind of interrupting before you kiss her, you touched her and I kind of felt the different energy. I see. Well, this is where, well, Issei smiles and says, I see. So I would have been just betrayed again in the near future if I would have contained and actually protecting her from the white one. So what is exactly the white one? I'm gonna say girl. I see. Well, Drake, I'm happy for you to be my partner. I'm really happy. But I'm gonna be frozen for a little bit. Okay? That's where, well, mostly Drake is confusing. What are you talking about, partner? Don't worry. This is where, well, Issei walks away from Drake in the mindscape, and this is where Drake was confused. Until freezing temperature appears and Drake was confused, his flames almost froze. This is where Issei says, hey, I guess you were right. I guess when I was little, you did tell me that mostly I will be corrupted, and I will become evil. Or mostly I will be betrayed and other things. Isn't that right? This is where, well, he calls out a name, and it was kind of like in a different language, and Drake was confused until freezing temperature actually appeared, freezing everything. Even Drake was confused. Even he felt terrified of the power. Something appears from the shadow of the darkness and appeared right in front of Issei, a tall figure who seems to be 6'1". This is where he has long white hair, and of course his eyes are glowing blue. He's right now having a sinister grin. What kind of a sinister grin? This is where just a grin on his face, and this is where, well, he says, well, if it isn't you, Dragon Boy, or mostly Issei-kun, it's been a while. It's been really a while. So I'm guessing you finally accepted to become the next successor of the ice, well, mostly the frost monarch. Isn't that right? He said in a different language where you can still kind of understand him a little bit. This is where, well, mostly Issei nodded. Well, if that's the case, yeah, then let's begin your transformation. This is where we go outside, and of course, this is where everything froze in an instant. Everything stopped time. Some people that were actually watching this were confused because they were actually seeing how Valerie, yes, the white one, and this one is actually a girl, but mostly she was taunting the red one, and of course trying to piss them off, probably trying to make them go into Juggernaut Tribe or something. But of course, well, they see how the red one reacts. This is where the red one kind of freezes everything. Well, mostly froze time itself. Everyone was confused, but everyone could not move. People were confused, seeing Issei in the middle with a frozen kind of case, mostly like a case of like bluish, mostly ice magic around him, and being much more powerful than normal instead of his normal ice magic. This is where his skin went blue, his hair became fully white, and of course, this is where, well, it became longer, but not that long. This is where, well, his eyes became a crystallized blue. It kind of destroyed the eye lenses, but not the point. This is where, well, he has become different. His clothing became white entirely. This is where, well, he kind of just said, interesting. So, I was reborn, kind of. Mostly reawakened. Is that mostly a possible case? Maybe. Who cares? I don't care. But other than that, I'm going to leave it off here for kind of part 1 of this what if. Now, I'm sorry I have to go somewhere, but yeah, I got to go. Bye. See you. Yeah.